Travel takes time and money, which most of us are short on both. Yet, if you're like us, you want to get out and explore, see, and experience new things, all without breaking the bank. The good news is, you don't necessarily have to travel far to experience these things and fulfill your sense of adventure at the same time. If you live near Sacramento, California, or are planning a visit and want something fun to do that the whole family can enjoy, then stay tuned because in this video, we're exploring one of several caves in and around Gold Country. We recently visited California Cavern and Mountain Ranch near San Andreas, California. It's only about an hour and a half from Sacramento and 2.5 hours from San Francisco. This is one of several caves you can visit and tour in the Sierra Foothills region, but what makes this spot so unique is that it's the longest cave system in California. California Cavern was first discovered by Captain Joseph Taylor in 1850 during the time of the gold rush. Because gold does not exist in limestone caverns like this one, he didn't end up discovering any. Nonetheless, he still managed to figure out how to get gold out of it. He did this by turning it into a tourist attraction. Visitors were charged a pinch of gold to tour the cavern's labyrinth of passageways, chambers, and underground lakes. Many who saw the cave etched their name on the cave walls, which are still visible today. It is said that some of its early visitors were Mark Twain and John Muir. We visited the cave in late spring and took the dry season walking tour called Trail of Lights. The tour started with a pleasant quarter-mile walk down a dirt path to the entrance of the cave. The moment we entered its interior, we were enveloped in cool air as if we were walking into an air-conditioned room. The cave stays around 55 degrees year-round, and we learned that during the harsh winters of the mid-1800s, the people of the area used it as their home and carried out their daily businesses within its walls. They held meetings, built a saloon, celebrated weddings, and even held church services. All of these events had their own designated chamber within the cave. The tour took about an hour total, and our knowledgeable guide led us through a series of narrow passageways that opened up into large chambers, each with strange yet beautiful formations that took hundreds of thousands of years to create. Stalactites, stalagmites, straws, crystalline drapes, and flowstone were some of the formations we saw and learned about during our tour. Some of these cave formations even took on familiar forms, such as a wedding cake or Winnie the Pooh. There are no reservations for the walking tour. It is on a first-come, first-served basis, so be sure to arrive early enough to get a spot before the last tour of the day. When you're done with your adventure, be sure to hit the indoor gift shop where you can grab a snack and a cold drink while shopping for souvenirs, apparel, geodes, and other geological gifts. After our cave tour, we also stopped off at the Calaveras County Museum in downtown San Andreas, which is just 12 miles west of the cavern. This little museum is jam-packed with interesting historical and archaeological exhibits of Calaveras. The museum is housed in the historical courthouse, jail yard, and hall of records. It was at this courthouse that the famous Wells Fargo stagecoach robber, Black Bart, was tried for his crimes in 1883. This notorious American outlaw was called quote-unquote a gentleman bandit and would leave poetic messages behind after concluding his robberies. There is a wide variety of other fun and adventurous things to do near California Cavern, such as camping and hiking among the giant sequoias at Calaveras Big Trees State Park, or visiting the fun town of Murphy's. We will be featuring both of these places and more in other videos, so make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future travel adventures. Now, how would we rate this experience? For family friendliness, we gave it 4 stars instead of 5 because we think it would be difficult to take very young children to the cave who either cannot walk or are not yet steady on their feet, because there are some slippery spots that require some balance. Also, strollers cannot be brought inside. If your child is very afraid of the dark, they may find it a little frightening as well. However, the tour is not necessarily scary. Pets are not allowed in the cave either, which you might have guessed, but only registered service animals are allowed. For accessibility, we also gave it 4 stars. We do not consider the walking tour to be strenuous. However, it is not wheelchair accessible and you will need to walk up and down a series of steps throughout. It may also be a challenge for the elderly or for anyone who may have balance issues, as it has uneven ground and walking sticks are not permitted. Lastly, some of the passageways between the rooms can be very low and somewhat narrow. You will need to be able to stoop down to walk between a couple of the rooms. I myself am 6'4", and while it was a bit of a challenge, I did get through just fine. At the time of filming this, tickets to go on the regular tour were $19 a person for those 13 and older. Children between 5 and 12 were $11, and kids under 5 years old are free. Please check the description for the link to the cave's website so you can get all the up-to-date pricing information. A couple other final things to keep in mind when visiting the cave is that the caves inside are pretty wet, so you'll want to wear clothes and shoes that you don't really mind getting a little bit of mud and dirt on. We stayed relatively clean, but we did get mud on our sides of our shoes and our hands and our clothing throughout. Footwear with traction is also recommended. Lastly, bags and backpacks cannot be worn during the tour, but cameras are welcome. If you liked our video, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you never miss where we're gonna go on our next adventures.